Yeah, look at my feet.
Hi, this is Vicky of SingleMotherAhoy.com and you're listening to my podcast. I'm very sorry I've been away for a few weeks. I've not been away, I've just not done a podcast for a few weeks. I've been a bit disorganised and a bit kind of here and there and all sorts, and it's tricky for me at the moment to find a time that is quiet enough for me to record, to be honest. But that's just an excuse, and really the answer is that I just have been a bit lazy. So anyway, I'm getting back to it all now. I'm going to start with a series of posts about Facebook and social media in general and using them to promote your blog or business. I've got a list of my top 10 Facebook tips, but I'm going to split them down. So this is the first part where I'm going to give you 5 top tips, and next week I'll give you another 5 top tips. So to kind of just help, I've heard a lot of bloggers and a lot of people saying, oh, you know, my Facebook page isn't getting any interaction, or I'm not reaching anybody. It's not worth it, I don't get any traffic from it, I'm not going to use it, or I'm going to switch over and use a personal account for it, and so on. And I think, personally, that's not the right way to go. I think it doesn't work well. So I'm going to give you top tips for using a Facebook page in the hope that you can maybe give that a go and see if you can improve your reach, basically. So my first top tip number 1, is to post photos and videos. Photos get, on average, about 39% more interaction. People like to see what's going on. They like to see pictures of things. They like to have things they can share. And it's just more interesting, I think, to have a photo or a little video. It doesn't need to be a photo of you or a photo of your kids, or, you know, a video of you or your kids. You know, you can find funny videos on YouTube. Something, you know, Happy Monday, here's a funny video. Those are really funny and they work really well. And you will get more interaction on them purely because it's, you know, it's a different kind of media. It's more interesting. My second tip is to use your insights. The difference between a Facebook page and a Facebook profile is, on a profile, yeah, you might feel like you're getting more interaction, but you can't really measure it unless you sit there yourself and count it. And also, your posts on your personal page will not be shown to as many people. A business page does have the potential to be shown to a lot more people than those that like your page, which is something I'll talk about in another post in a couple of weeks. I'll talk about EdgeRank. But yeah, using your insights, you can see who your fans are, whether they're male or female, what their average age range is, where they live, and you can use that to really target what you're posting. So if most of your fans are men in their 50s, there's not going to be much point posting stuff about how to care for your baby, or, you know, things that are typically, you know, having your nails done, stuff like that. It's not going to appeal to them, and you're going to lose fans. You're not going to get the interaction. So have a look and see who your fans are. Get really specific, and also be aware that as you get more likes on your page, those insights will change, because it will change the demographic of who's liking your page. And so you need to kind of have a look at it, I would say at least on a monthly basis, to check who's actually looking at your page. Another great thing that I use my insights for is your under the posts tab, you can see what time most of your fans are online. So you can see that, you know, you'll have like a little graph, and it's okay, well, there's usually a very obvious peak at some point during the evening. For me, sometimes that's between 7 and 8, and sometimes it's between 8 and 9. So what I do with that is I always make sure that I've got a good post, you know, an interesting post going out, either between 7 and 8 or between 8 and 9. And the pages I manage for clients as well, that's the first thing I check, is when are most of your fans online? When is the best time for me to post, you know, this information? So I will always have a link to my blog. Just recently I've been doing links to old blog posts, because I've had a lot of new followers recently who won't have seen anything that I posted in the last 2 years. So I've been reposting it, and also, you know, stuff that's relevant to the time of year. So you might not have posted anything for Father's Day this year, but last year you might have had a cracking Father's Day post, so you could put that up. And using your insights, you can see when's the best time to do that. My third point is about curating. So yeah, post links to your blog, to your website, whatever, that's there, you know, that's what your Facebook page is there for. But I don't personally want to go and look at a Facebook page and just see, come and look at my website, come and look at my website. Today on the blog I've posted this. Have you seen this post on my blog today? I want to see everything around that, and I don't, you know, I get a lot of interaction on links to other websites. So, you know, be generous, post to other blogs, post links to other blogs that you think your fans might be interested in, or, you know, something, a controversial news topic. I quite often will get up in the morning. The first thing I do, I'm that sad. The first thing I do, I look at my phone, I look at the news feeds that I have on my phone, so you can get lots of different news apps. And I look and see if there are any stories relevant to what I think my fans might like. So stuff like funny things people have said on Facebook this week, funny pictures, stuff about celebrities or the royal family is always a big hit. Even if you don't find it interesting, your fans probably will, and you'll get a good reach out of it. Stories for me, stories about parenting, about education, anything to do with nurseries. But also I'll post links to, lists of books, 20 books you must read by the time you're 50, things like that. For you, that's going to be different. But make your page a place where people know they're going to find relevant information, interesting posts, interesting links to websites that they might not usually see. So, the Huffington Post, The Guardian, The Times, maybe not The Times because they have a paywall and you have to think of that when you post things so that people won't be able to see it. But, lots of different websites, different blogs, random pages, BuzzFeed, although BuzzFeed stuff gets shared an awful lot anyway, so they might have already seen it. But just lots of different places. Make it really interesting, an interesting place for people to look. Somewhere that they might actually just come and scroll down your newsfeed and see all the different things you've posted because they know it's a good place to look for stuff. I find I get a lot of interaction on posts like that. And also you can look on Pinterest. Pinterest, you can find an awful lot of things, links to all sorts of places, and it's really easy to search and find things. And usually a link to a blog post or an article that you find on Pinterest will, by definition, have a good picture that will come up on your Facebook page when you post it. Point number 4, it's not a soapbox. Don't preach to people. Don't I've seen people post statuses that start with, oh, I've said it before and I'll say it again, or blah, blah, or you shouldn't be doing this, or you shouldn't be doing that. When will people learn? Nobody wants to be shouted at or preached at or judged. People, I find I get a lot of interaction on things where I ask people's opinions or advice. I'm not an expert in anything, and I find that if I ask Facebook, I get a whole load of other people who aren't an expert in it, but they all know somebody, or they've got an idea or an opinion, or they've had their own experience, and you get a whole wide range of different things, and sometimes then you'll get quite great discussion topics out of that, well, I think this, I think that, well, do you think this, and have you been there, and blah, blah, and it kind of, that you engage people. People like to be able to be helpful, and they like to feel like they are knowledgeable on a topic. So if you say, what have you found, how do you find is the best way to, whatever, you will always get people go, I think this, I think that. And it's just a great way to get people engaging. And also, a very important point, be polite if you're disagreeing. It's fine to disagree, but don't be like, oh no, you're wrong, or you're stupid, or that's an idiotic thing to say. Always say something like, I disagree, or that's interesting, but I think. Try to be, even if they come back and they're very rude, try to be polite about it, and, just the same as you would if you were arguing with somebody or talking to somebody in the street, I think. My last point is to schedule posts. If you spend all day sitting on Facebook posting stuff, you're not going to have anything else going on in your life that's interesting to post about. You can't sit there and, always be online at the peak points in the day. But you can schedule posts. So for example, I'm putting posts out between 8 and 9 in the evening. I'll sit there one day and I'll find all of the posts I want to post, and I will schedule them all in one go for maybe the next week or the next 2 weeks. And it's really easy, and then it's done. And Facebook allows you to do that really simply. If you're not sure how to do it, leave a comment. I can go through it. It's not difficult at all if I can manage it. I have the Facebook Pages app on my mobile, and I will sit in bed in the morning, like I said, and with point 3 curating information, I'll find my news stories. But if you sit there at 7 in the morning and post 10 links to news stories, one after the other, they will not reach anybody because it's just spam after a while. So what I do is I post a first one, as and when I find it, and the next one I post for an hour's time, and an hour after that, and an hour after that. So if there's a lot of stuff going on in the day and I found a lot of stories, potentially, that is a post going out every hour throughout the day without me actually being sitting at my computer. And then I can come back later in the day and I can look at the comments and things, and also have a look at what has had interaction and what hasn't, and see what's worked. Because you always need to look back at what you've posted and what has and hasn't reached people, which again is where your insights come in handy. You can see how many people you've reached, how many likes, how many comments, and all that business. and really start to target what you're posting and start to think about what's the best thing to post, what's the most interesting thing to post, and I find that really helps. So that's my top 5 tips for Facebook. Next week I've got another 5 tips coming, and I'll also have a few more posts about using Facebook, using Twitter, using Instagram, everything to promote your blog or your business. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know if you try any of my tips, how you get on with them, whether you've got any more tips to add, I'd love to know. And I will be back next week with more tips. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Kiss me, Mummy. Kiss me, Mummy.